that intro music.
Que pasa, mi amigos?
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Cannabis Show, where I am always your hostess, Dr. Yolanda Henderson, and always joined by my wonderful co-host,
Unc with the red cup.
Unc with the red cup. I thought you were Lord.
I was Lord last week.
You was Lord last week?
Yeah.
Okay. So every week here is a different person. These personalities we're going to get with today.
It's my mood.
It's the whole mood. All right, y'all. So welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Cannabis Show. We will be discussing multiple sclerosis this week and Women's History Month. So tune in, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, so Mr. Henderson is going to give us the outlets to watch the show. Mr. Henderson.
Real quick. You go to your laptop, you hit your Internet Explorer, your Safari, whatever you use to access the Internet. Type in at the top of the search bar, statusnetwork.net. Then if you got the app or the Play Store or Google Play Store or whatever the Apple Play program is, type in Status Network, right? Then you're going to look for Manifest TV, the Holistic Cannabis Show. In that order. Check this out. You want to call in, say your opinion, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, we'll still listen. 470-251-4647. If we on Fire Stick, we on Roku, we on Instagram, we on YouTube, we everywhere. We even on Spotify.
We're on Spotify. We are now on iHeartRadio. We're
That
also, we are on YouTube. So
We everywhere.
We're everywhere. So we just want to shout out to Status Network for allowing us to be everywhere. That's right.
Everywhere.
We are
We
everywhere.
in your pocket, we in your car, we on your laptop. Man, we everywhere. We on your iPad, we on everything. Check this out. ManifestTV.status on Instagram. ManifestTV.status on Facebook. Periscope, status_network_. Twitter, status_network_. YouTube, Manifest TV. All of those outlets, type those in, and then go look for the Holistic Cannabis Show.
That's it. That's us.
Just like that.
All right. So if you all have a birthday in the month of March. That's right. We want to shout you all out. Happy birthday. All right. Do you have any March birthdays you want to shout out?
I do, man. My brother.
Okay. When is his birthday?
Reginald Leach.
Oh, Reginald.
His
Happy
birthday is March 31st.
March 31st.
Hey, man, shout out to my boy Tim Fundren, my kinfolk. That's my kinfolk right there, too. His birthday is in March.
All right. Happy birthday, Timothy.
You know what I'm saying? March rolling up on it, too, now. March rolling up on it, too.
That's right. All right. So happy birthday to everyone in March, and a special Women's History Month shout out again to all of the women. We were over at the Veterans Day rally for Women's History Month for all of the women who served. So that was a big fun event, and I'll show a picture of that a little later. These are shout out to our students who are getting ready to graduate. Some of them actually completed the whole course, so we want to shout them out.
3 more.
Fatima, Dr. Clea, and Chris, and there's others that were joining us, but they were online. So if you have a interest in taking our courses, you can take those courses online and be available to get your certificate in the medical cannabis industry. All right, so we have a video that we want to watch and discuss. Montel Williams is big advocate for multiple sclerosis, and we know that multiple sclerosis awareness month is this month, so also shouts out to those who suffer in silence. This is the month where we take the time out and educate people on what it's like to have multiple sclerosis. And so myself in general have the disease or the disorder, and you know, it affects me at times, and at times I'm okay, and I just go with the flow at this point, and I utilize my ability to take cannabis. So when people say they advocate, I'm the real advocate because it is dear to me. It hits me home, and it helps me to be able to function for my day-to-day activities. So we're going to talk about how that helps people who have multiple sclerosis on today's show, and how it has been around, and many people did not even understand why a lot of people utilize the cannabis as medicine and not just for recreational purposes. So we're going to play this quick video from Montel Williams about how he was able to use cannabis and how it's benefited him in his days and nights. After this.
We're soaking up Montel, even at the commercial break.
Welcome back to DBL. Health is wealth, right? We've all heard this, but this man right here is living proof. Montel, you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, commonly known as MS, in 1999. We've actually used you as an example on our show of someone thriving with the disease, but MS has the highest rate of depression amongst all neurological diseases. How are you today?
Well, I got to tell you something. I went through that bout. I went through a really tough time when I first got diagnosed. I went to see a doctor who had the audacity to tell me that I was going to be in a wheelchair in 10 years. Yeah. And I was like, you don't know me. How can you crystal ball? If you were God, nobody would be sick. So doctors aren't God. However, I paid attention to the fact that, you know, I said to myself, if I'm going to have this disease, I'm going to know everything I can learn about it. So I jumped in 2 feet. I went to the library, because that was before there was internet, and I started studying everything I could study about the illness. And I realized that very quickly that one of the greatest nemesises of MS is inflammation. So I sought about doing everything that I could do to reduce the inflammation in my body. I started working on new breakthrough experimental protocols that have done me well. I know that you guys have talked about Selma on the show, and also Christina.
And Christina Applegate?
I've talked to both of them.
Really?
I actually went over to Selma's house, and we spent some time together. You know, I literally worked on a medical device. It's called a PONS device that literally just got FDA approval for MS, mild to moderate gait imbalance. I know this will be something that could help them, so I'm so glad that you guys have an opportunity to even talk about it here, because there's a lot of other people out there that are suffering. They don't know about the fact that this device is now available here in the United States. I use it every single day, and it is part of the reason why I think I've had the balance and gait that I have. But, you know, MS is one of those illnesses that doctors didn't know as much as they need to know about it, so they would give these prognoses that were like so dire. I don't want to get busy dying. I want to get busy living. And so what I've done since my diagnosis is everything I can do to not just help myself, but to share it with others and help them. So I work on things like, I'm working on a protocol right now that is one of the only cures for PTSD in the world. It's called RTM. It's so powerful that the country of Ukraine and Poland, we've now trained 40 clinicians there. They're begging us to train another 150, because this is a bona fide by the governing body that approves all psychological protocols, one of the only cures for PTSD in existence today. It's called RTM, Reconsolidation of Traumatic Memories. This works. 9 out of 10 people who do it, guess what? Completely remit all their symptoms of PTSD in 5 to 10 hours. No medication.
What? That can get rid of addiction and shame.
But what's happened is we live in a country where they look at illness as a opportunity to make more money. And this is something that's going to cause a little difficulty in the industry. So I think, you know, rather than being a cottage industry where you're making a lot of cash, this is something that could start helping us. And remember, since COVID, almost 60% of the people who spent more than 2 days in the hospital for COVID are suffering from some form of PTSD. 30 to 40% of all of our first responders are suffering from PTSD. This is going to be our biggest nightmare in the next 10 years, and the cure is here now.
That's so angering to me.
Oh, I am so angry about it.
Military. Speaking of, you know,
correct.
I know
the number of soldiers that we could help. Do you know that we talked about it before COVID, and we saw all of a sudden stop. 24 to 26 veterans a day take their lives.
Yeah.
You're making me emotional. Sorry. No, thank you for that.
These are who've done the most for us. They're the least of us that have done the most for us. And how dare we not give them access to a cure if it's available today? Yeah. I'm taking this to Washington, D.C. I'm taking this all over the country. I'm trying to scream it the loudest. The cure is there. 9 out of every 10 people who have been through this protocol remit all of the symptoms. No drugs. 5 to 10 hours.
Thank you.
Why can't we do this? Yeah. Why? Because insurance companies and people are making about $150,000 a year off of people suffering. Yeah. Stop.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Gotcha.
You know, we have to talk about the day-to-day struggle that a lot of Americans deal with, Montel, and I feel like you, more than anybody, can speak to that, because you must have left your show figuring out, who am I now? You leave the military, who is Montel Williams now? Yep. You're diagnosed with MS, who are you now? So how did you get from the military to here, taking care of yourself mentally with your mental health day-to-day?
I've had one thing that stuck in my craw since I was in the 5th grade. I alone will be the person who owns the definition of who I am. I dare anybody else to try to define me. I have MS. So what? I have MS. MS doesn't have me. I will do everything I can do to see if I can battle this illness and live as strong as I can, rather than live down to somebody else's expectations, no matter what it is. And anybody else out there that's suffering from an illness, I would suggest to them, you are your biggest advocate. You need to study. Stop the silly thinking it's just going to come through osmosis. Go read into your illness. Find out what it is. Find out what is happening with maybe those 1 or 2 people who seem to have miraculously been cured. It's not a miraculous thing. It's not an N of 1. There's a reason why those people are surviving. There's a reason why I am. So copy me. If it works for you, I hope it does. MS isn't one size fits all. But some of the things that I've learned, I think I can share.
Thank you.
I mean, fantastic. Montel, if you're ever looking to come back to TV, that seat's yours, my friend.
Yes. Thank you.
I love you guys.
The passion.
We'll be right back.
I love it, man.
No,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was all right.
So y'all heard it here. All right. So that reminds me of me. Everything that Montel said that he has going on with him, military, MS, getting out of the military, depressed, and then taking ownership of my life. No matter what, when life dishes you lemons, you make lemonade, and I always say a full course meal to go with it. Because I'm not taking no wooden nickels, and I'm not taking no diagnosis to stop me from doing nothing that I want to do, even though it gets me down sometimes, but I bounce back, because that's what we're supposed to do. And so we had a legislative breakfast, that's what I wanted to tell you all earlier, with some of the greatest here in the state of Georgia. And they were allowed to talk with us, and we talked with them about our concerns as veterans. And being a black woman in the community, with all of my other comrades and sisters and those who signed their lives for this country, we, want to have our voices heard. And being in the cannabis industry and using cannabis for a medication has helped me, and it has the potential to help many others. All right. So not only the RTF he was talking about, but medical cannabis is also a great benefit for veterans all over, and it's helping. It's helping us to strive, to get up, to be happy, to not have depressive, states of mind, and to be able to laugh and just enjoy life in general. So the way that it helps me, I know that it can help other veterans. So we have the quick picture that we'll show you all. All right, so the photos of the legislative breakfast, and there we go. There I am. All right, and then, so those were all of the different organizations that came together.
Wow.
So I'm going to a big shout out to them. And there was me with Senator. All right. So,
oh, wow.
get her name. There she go. Georgia Senator Tanya Anderson. And we were there on Tuesday, yesterday.
You was chilling. While I was at work. You was chilling.
That's right. We had a great time.
I should have went too.
It was for women only. I'm sorry, you couldn't go.
That's all good. Just joking around.
I know. All right, so just to explain how cannabis works with MS, we do have a short picture. I'm sorry, I was going to say video, but a picture of how MS and cannabis works and goes together. So we can get that picture pulled up, and it talks about how the benefits of cannabis works. And there's another one before that. If you can get to that other one. No, it's there you go. Multiple sclerosis. All right, so multiple sclerosis is a neurological disease. It has spasticity, neuropathic pain, and neuroprotection, okay? Multiple sclerosis is a neurodegenerative disease that is characterized by symptoms such as spasticity, neuropathic pain, fatigue, depression, sleep disorders, gait disorders, sphincter dysfunction, and taking into account the scarce effectiveness of current treatments for the control of the symptomatology, it has provoked, once again, the research of alternative therapies.
Mm-hmm.
So the benefits of cannabis for the control of MS symptoms have been demonstrated in a multitude of studies, although it is still a very controversial issue since in some investigations no efficacy has been demonstrated. There is evidence of improvement in the control of spasticity and neuropathic pain, in addition to producing a neuroprotective effect that has the ability to slow the progression of the disease. Immunomodulatory properties are also attributed to it, although it only occurs at high doses of cannabinoids, and all the scope in terms of this disease is still unknown. But you see, there are references, and here's a fact. Multiple sclerosis fact is the cognitive difficulties. So we forget often. We schedule appointments, birthdays, and someone's name, words, phone numbers, and even how to do something we've done for years. Multitasking is out of the question, and asking us to deal with a difficult situation that requires deep thought may be met with a blank stare because we simply can't get our brains to work. So I apologize if you all have ever dealt with my little spouts of MS. That is a reason, all right, behind some of the things that I do.
What?
But definitely I don't let it get me down. I just wish other people kind of understood a little bit better about what happens in my brain, to where I have those episodes and you just don't get it, Some people just will never get MS, and it is okay because I don't look like I have MS. To a lot of people, But I am wearing my orange, so I wear orange for Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month this month, so.
Just don't forget my birthday.
How can I forget your birthday? You made it obvious to remember because it's our anniversary, so, hey. Hopefully I'll never remember that. But in other words, I do have and have had an MRI this past year. My lesions are just about the same as they've been for the past 5 years. So no more growth. So I'm thankful for that. But they are in critical spots. So losing my memory can be possible. But we're hoping and we're praying against that kind of stuff. And also, we're taking cannabis, so that's helping to stop those myelin sheets from becoming, damaged. Cannabis is a neuroprotective, as you just saw, and so we are working to keep that under control. So we're going to show a quick video about MS and multiple sclerosis right after this.
Starts a month of highlighting women's impact throughout the world. And if you didn't know, it is Women's History Month. And of course, we always celebrate women's contributions to history. But for the month of March, we're going to show the ladies a little extra love. Joining me to help kick this conversation off, Dr. Cheryl Pullett Williamson. Dr. Williamson, thank you so much for joining me in studio. I appreciate that.
I am so honored to be here with you today and super excited that we are together kicking off Women's History Month.
Absolutely, and we are honored to have you in the building. Okay, you are a best-selling author, a philanthropist, and you've just done so much, award-winning filmmaker. I want to first talk about your background and how that positions you to be here to having this discussion with us about Women's History Month.
It all started on social media.
Okay.
I started sharing affirmations with people on social media, and people started contacting me. And I decided one day that I needed to place the affirmations in a book. And so my very first book was Affirmed, 365 Thoughts and Actions to Start Your Day. And it just grew from there into a phenomenal movement of women believing in themselves, knowing that we have the ability to impact the world by what we say to ourselves first.
Yes.
And then to everybody else.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about Women's History Month overall and what this month is all about.
This month for me is about creating spaces and places for women to soar. It's about opening doors of opportunity, and I'll say it's not just about us doing it this month, it's about us doing it every month, right? Every opportunity that we get, we should be creating spaces and places for our sisters to join us at the table, set that table, and then go create another one. And this month is one we need to dig in especially and make sure that we leave nobody behind.
There you go.
We need to let another woman know, I see you. I see you.
And I see you, by the way. Why is it important, though, for women to celebrate other women, celebrate each other?
It is important because many times we go through so many trying things in our lives. And when we have a woman come along and say, I'm with you, I support you, it pushes us to the next level. For me, having that table where women created and brought me along, it pushed me into want to do more for other people. It made me develop that abundance mentality that if I could have it, I could help other sisters have it as well.
And you just talked about mentality, and that was exactly where I was going to transition into, so I'm happy you kind of led me along the way. You have something that I've heard you say a few times during my research on you. Your mindset is your superpower.
Oh, yes.
What does that mean for you, and what does that mean for the rest of us?
That means that nobody can talk me out of my dreams and my hopes and my vision. I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to have all the money. All I have to do is believe it. Because me being here with you right now in this moment, it's a mindset, it's my superpower moment. Because I've been watching you. I see how you soar and how you show up for women. And I wanted to be in this space, in this place. And it became possible because I didn't let the world tell me what couldn't happen for me. I didn't let anybody allow me to say, oh, you don't know her, that's not going to happen for you. When we believe that anything and everything is possible, it becomes possible. But it starts with us.
Now, I know you was coming in here to preach to me, too. My goodness. You're hosting, real quick, the Women of Influence Award. Speaking of women supporting and uplifting one another, a lot of amazing women in our community. Talk about that briefly and how folks can get involved.
Absolutely. I decided that I wanted to create a luncheon where I could salute women who the world needed to know about. And so it's the Women of Influence, Cheryl Magazine Women of Influence Awards Luncheon at Glen Eagles Country Club on March 31st. And these women are coming in from all over the country for us to see them, really see them and what they contribute to the world.
Okay. Dr. Williamson, thank you so much. By the way, that event that she was just talking about, the Women of Influence, is happening Friday, March 31st in Plano. Soul Reborn, Cheryl's nonprofit, will honor 6 ladies again doing amazing work across the country. Okay, you can help.
All right, so y'all heard it here. All right, just not about multiple sclerosis, but about women in history, women succeeding, women uplifting other women, women being powerful to show up for such a time as this. And I can say that I'm doing it. I'm showing up. I'm showing the world that I can do it in spite of being available, be on this platform is an honor, and being able to be, just helping, maybe someone could see my story and say that if she does it, then maybe I could do it too. So, and then if somebody says, well, I'm scared to do it, how can I get into it? Call us. We have the number, our number to be reached outside of the show is 404-631-6360, and especially in the cannabis space. So I am definitely in the cannabis space as the owner, the founder of the first African-American cannabis school, trade school here in the state of Georgia. So we're making history even right now in the cannabis space. And if you want to get into it, there's so many people who will welcome you to get started because there's room for everyone in the industry. And as women, it's something that we need to be able to say that it's okay for us to get in this industry because it's been dominated by the males for so long, and the women are like, okay, it's our turn, let's go. All right, so let's go, ladies. We have some more information about what we've done, what I've done. I'm also a author of a book that is about teen pregnancy because I was a teen mom. All right, so that book was chosen to go to London for the London Book Fair. All right, and it's teen pregnancy before, during, and after. I'm on Amazon, and if you like to support, please go on Amazon and order you a copy of this book. All right, so we're trending. We don't have but 2 reviews, so I would love if you sent your review so that our companies can get your review and post your review on those platforms in places such as London. So I'm very excited to be going, or maybe going to London. And yes, next month is the book fair is April the 18th through the 20th. So I've never been to London. I'm kind of, you know, the UK has been one of those places that Meghan Markle's been, and we don't really hear a lot about African Americans in London. So I'm just excited to venture out of the country again and go to London. All right, so what do you have, Mr. Henderson? What else do we have? All right, so we have some case studies and some studies about cannabis, and it says that marijuana consumers are having shorter hospital stays after joint replacement surgeries. So great. Cannabis also, it can help with that ringing in your ears. If you've had that, here's what tinnitus patients reported in this new survey. And then the Department of Justice opened the online application portal for those eligible to receive certificates indicating that their marijuana-related convictions have been pardoned by the president. So great. All right, and then we're going to catch up on the latest action on marijuana-related legislation pending across the nation. If you want that information, please follow us on Facebook, the Atlanta Academy of Cannabis Science. We're also on Facebook as the Holistic Cannabis Show and the Gift of Life Community Home. Cannabis is an effective treatment for patients diagnosed with chronic pain and anxiety, concluded authors of this latest study. All right, Mr. Henderson has a great strain that you want to talk about.
This strain right here is called Orange Romulan.
All right.
I had this strain before. Now, this strain is a particular favorite of people who have multiple sclerosis.
That's right.
So when I went to research about this strain, I thought about you.
Awesome.
Now, the most abundant terpene in orange romulan is myrcene, followed by strong caryophyllene and pinene.
Okay.
All right. Myrcene is the most common terpene found in cannabis and has an earthy scent. Caryophyllene is kind of peppery in its texture and scent.
The flavor notes.
Pinene is kind of like pine.
Right.
Yeah? Now, but with each of these terpenes, now they do sell them, I guess, individually, right? You can buy terpenes, just like in your aromatherapy oils, right?
That's right.
All right. Now, feelings. All right. Those who engage with this strain, it leaves you feeling tingly, a little giggly, and euphoric. So I would summarize that as being like an uplifting characteristic. All right. Orange Romulan also has a flavor profile of grapefruit, lime, and orange. I would summarize that to say it's citrusy. All right. Now, Orange Romulan strain helps with fatigue. That's right. 100% of the people says that it helps with their fatigue. All right. The headaches, 100% of the people who came across this strain said that it helped them with their headaches. And insomnia, 100% of the people surveyed said that it helps with their insomnia. You're going to feel good, you're going to relax, and you're going to go to sleep.
Right.
All right.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right. So I'm looking here. We're live. That's
Shout out
right.
to my boy.
Shout out.
My boy.
Yes. Whoop. Shouts out to my boy. He got accepted to WSU, Wichita State University. I told him to get out of Georgia. Go. Go soar. See the world, right? So we're still looking at some other colleges, though, here in Georgia. So, hey, I was thinking about Fort Valley or, HBCU. And then I was like, you know what? He wants to venture out. He wants to get away from parents. He's been at home, and he's been a good boy. No kids, no.
That's why I got the yellow shirt on.
So, yeah. So we want to make sure that
Wichita
he
State.
stays active, and they invited him. He's a football player, so he's he's kind of excited about playing football for Wichita State. So y'all got to keep an eye out on my boy, Mr. G-Man. His name. There you go. All right. So in other news, Mr. Henderson, what do you have on credits?
Well, what I have on credit is we're going to talk about some letters. I'm going to show y'all what my 10 favorite letters are. Maybe you sitting at home trying to figure out how to word these letters, right? You done looked on Instagram, you done looked on Facebook, and you see these other credit repair specialists and company owners, and they just flash the letter up there real quick, right? You don't have time to screen record it or take a screen print of it. We're going to talk about it today on this segment.
There you go.
nthcredit.net. All right. Now, when you get ready to purchase a house, buy a car, shop for insurance, even get a new job, they will pull your credit report, aka consumer profile. And what those consumer profiles show is a pattern of either responsibility or irresponsibility. Yep. And so when you're confronted with trying to make sure that of what you want to do with your letters, we'll go to page 3. These are my top 10 favorites. So whenever somebody come and talk to me about getting their credit fixed, this is the order in which I address the items on their credit report.
All right.
Now, round 1 is a letter to send to request information, if you will. And with this information, you're basically saying, hey, I noticed something's not right on my credit report. Take a look at it. It's a request for investigation. Now, the cool part about this letter is with this letter, if they don't respond back in 30 days, it's an automatic deletion. All right, automatic.
Automatic.
All right. The second letter that I'm going to show you is a letter that I send whenever 30 days has passed and there has been no response, aka the Bureau no response letter. The credit bureaus are required under federal law to conduct an investigation and respond with the results of the investigation within 30 days of receiving your initial request. Ignoring the request is unacceptable, and unfortunately, you may have to tell them more than once to comply, which is why we send a bureau no response. A bureau reinvestigation letter is issued when they send something back to you and they say, oh yeah, well, it's been verified, right? The reinvestigation letter is the way to let the bureau know that, hey man, you mean business about getting your report fixed, right? So that you can buy the house, buy the car, get the credit card, or the job, whatever you're trying to get. Now, after you've gotten this far, then you would send them a bureau warning. That bureau warning lets the bureau know that, hey, these are my rights, and I know what my rights are. They underline and underscore what your rights as a consumer is, all right? The fifth letter that I'm going to send is a furniture basic dispute. You know what the difference is between number 5 and number 1 on this list? Number 1 goes to the credit bureaus. Number 5 goes to the collection agency or the primary creditor, aka the furnisher of information. The furnisher dispute letter is the letter that you're going to send to the collection agency that's going to say, hey man, you guys are reporting something to the credit bureaus that is not accurate, and I'm offended and appalled that you would do so. All right? You're going to send that letter, and when you don't get a response back from that letter, just like at the bureau letters, you would send a furnisher reinvestigation, followed by a furnisher warning, and then validation or the quote-unquote 609 letter. The validation letter is not the same as verification. A validation letter, you are requesting certain pieces of information, all right, such as a wet signature contract with your name on it, or a statement of the account, right? You're gonna want to see, if it's a collection agency that you're dealing with, you're gonna want to see proof that the collection agency assumed this debt, like a receipt. You said that you purchased my debt, show me the receipt.
Show me.
All right? The next one is estoppel by silence. So once you followed all through those letters, and you have no response from the furnisher, you are going to send what's called a estoppel by silence, which means that because you didn't respond or reply to any of my previous letters, guess what? I'm assuming that you agree with me.
Right.
All right? Now, these are where you get into the meat and potatoes of the letter. Remember, we talked about the initial verification letter. All right, if we scroll up a little bit, this is how you're going to format your letter. The client name, the client last name, or the consumer. All right, the consumer's address, the birth date, the last 4 digits of the social security number, the credit bureau's address, because remember now, the first 5 letters go to the credit bureau.
Right.
All right.
So this is part of the first letter.
This is the first letter. Okay. All right. You see how simple that explanation is? You always want to be sure to include the USC code, or the United States Commercial Code.
All right.
With that letter.
Is that the
right?
USC?
That's what the USC is. Now, right. I would advise all of my clients, when they sign up for credit repair, I tell them to go and familiarize themselves with this particular uniform code.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
That way, you won't be swindled by a credit repair company.
Right.
You won't be swindled by a collection agency, or a bill collector, or even a original creditor. Because guess what? We all have to follow the United States Commercial Code.
Okay.
All right.
So where can they go to if they don't want to do that, so that you can do that for them?
Now, I do manage the process. I do handle the process, right? Because as you can see, to send off those 10 letters, right? This is why you need a credit repair specialist or a credit repair person working alongside you, is because we know the language. Well, I do.
Well, you know, yeah.
And who know what nobody else knows.
Right.
You don't know what nobody else know, nephew. I just know what I know. All right?
All right, Unc.
And the reason that I know what I know is because I spent 15 years as a bill collector on the other side of the gun. Yeah. I was the person calling you 9 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah. I was the person that it didn't matter, you know, hey man, whatever you got going on, I don't care. You're gonna send me $20, you're gonna send me $40, I don't care. Right?
Y'all still getting them calls.
Well, what about my kids gotta eat? I was that person that didn't care what your kids eat. Instead of feeding them chicken, you better go and get them some bologna sandwiches and give me my money. Go run me my money. I was that bill collector.
Okay.
You hang
now
up
you
on
on
me.
the other side.
You hang up on me, I'm suing you.
Yeah, change heart. A Damascus Road experience.
But what happened was it got to my conscience that I had to be this way, and I had to be uncaring. I had to be cold, because guess what? Even as a bill collector, man, I have children to feed. I had mouth to feed. I had to take care of my bills and my stuff too, right? So that was my job. And so it wasn't that I was bad at the job, because I was actually pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? I could sell white gloves to somebody that's eating a ketchup popsicle.
Oh.
I was that good at it.
Salesman.
But then at the same time, I found that it's better to be of help and assistance instead of hindrances and hurts.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Unc.
www.nthcredit.net 888-959-2093, nephew.
I love it. I love it. All right. So you guys, you've seen the show. You know what we do. Please share the show, support the show, support the book, support all of the knowledge and education that you get with us every week. And we're normally on Sundays, so every Sunday from 5 to 6. And you would hear the topics me and Mr. Henderson discuss in the cannabis and the finance industry. So we want to thank you all again for watching the show and taking your time out of your busy schedule to sit down and join us tonight. And we hope that you have a great rest of your week. And until next week, we'll see you soon.